Welcome to the Haunted Hangover podcast. I'm Louie, and I'm joined by Sam.
Hello. Hi.
And Chris.
Is that Sam? Who is that? Is she in character?
Who is she, Chris?
name?
Is that a
Lenny?
character?
What's that?
I don't know. It looks like it could be a character from what we're about to cover.
Yeah, now anybody can figure it out.
What's her name? Is it Lena?
Lenny.
Lenny. She's got to have the androgynous name on the show.
Yeah.
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 I know this is off topic, but we were just talking about a poop that was left on Sammy's.
Mysterious poop situation.
It works with the theme of this episode. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
There's a mystery.
Yeah, we got to solve the
There's
mystery.
there's ambiance. I can smell it. Somebody let their dog shit in front of my door.
Who was the shooter? We got to figure it out.
And,
That's not the
couldn't
first
figure
time
it
they've had to figure out who shot somebody in Texas.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's just another day.
My sister came home from work to discover quite the deuce on her doormat. Her front.
In the front of my door is crazy.
Yeah.
Did the
Yo, I'm not going to lie. I zoomed in on the photo, which is my bad. I shouldn't have done that. It was a shitload of shit.
It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit. Clean up after your dogs, dude.
Before we hit record for this lovely episode we're about to discuss, we were trying to figure out, like, logistically how one leaves, how one allows their dog to drop a deuce on a mat and then walk away. And
in
then
front of someone's door.
Yeah, and then Chris inspecting it, he zoomed in on the photo.
Yo, it looked like a
I
healthy
didn't even
poop, I
have
will
to
say
zoom
that.
in on the photo she sent us.
Yeah, but I'm saying you zoom in, you see the actual amount of shit
There's a
that's
lot of
there.
shit.
Like, God damn.
It doesn't look like the dog. It looks like the dog popped a squat. It doesn't look like a drag
that's
turd,
my
you know?
point.
Like the dog was being...
Listen, we had a dog many moons ago, and there has been times where, like, my dog had taken a shit and I had no more poop bags. And, like, I'm just like, I'm going to run before somebody sees me leave this shit on the floor. But there's poop bags everywhere. So who shit in front of my door?
Your apartment complex like provides them, right? Like
They
at little
provide
stops
them
and
and a little waste bin for them. There's like 4 of them around my building.
But just by the evidence, the photo that was given...
Malicious.
That you sent to Chris
poop.
and I. It looks like a poop that, not malicious, but like the dog was not a large dog, but the dog definitely like was there for a minute. Maybe the owner of the dog was like on their phone.
Maybe.
Not paying
Walking
attention.
around, yeah.
And the dog just
Get
sat
outta
there
here.
right. I'm trying to listen. The dog is an innocent bystander. The dog has no idea what it's doing. It's just
I don't blame the
it's
dog. I
relieving
blame
itself.
the piece of shit owner.
But yeah. That's my sister's mystery. She's in the middle of it.
You know who could have solved this? Ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter would have taken the turd and then made a word
And
out of it. He would have spelled
The assholes in apartment 3B.
3B. He would have wrote 3B.
You go
dog.
find the little 3 and then get the little B flying back and forth.
Couple of turds. Spelling out the apartment number. Sammy, and you would have easily been able to solve this mystery. That's what you need. You needed Ghostwriter. Ghostwriter would have totally solved this poop dilemma you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Is the turd in front of the door as we speak, or was it picked up?
No.
Evidence is roped off like a crime scene.
No, I threw it out with the mat, and the apartments are on it. They're checking cameras, and they're sending me a new mat.
You know what?
And they'll send me a good mat too. That I found at like a thrift store.
We're gonna need an update on this mystery. This poop mystery. That
I know, we're gonna have to do an entire episode
Tune in.
on this mystery.
An addendum episode coming soon. My sister's poop dilemma. Man, where's Ghostwriter when you need him?
Yeah.
And on that note, yes, we're talking Ghostwriter and Ghostwriter, not Ghost Rider, the skeleton.
Not the Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, not to be confused.
I love how Nicolas Cage is the guy you go to, not that
He's in the movie. He's in the movie.
Not the Marvel character that was around for 30 years before.
But that's what I'm saying. He was the character in the movie.
He was. But yes, Ghost Ghostwriter. With
Ghostwriter!
There you go. And the wonderful 4-part episode, Attack of the Slime Monster.
All started at the Reliable Bubblegum Factory. One day, the guy who was supposed to be mixing up the bubblegum fell asleep at the controls. The bubblegum got too hot and too much sugar got poured in. There was a big explosion and boom! Gooey Gus, the slime monster, was born.
Now, this, and I say this all the time whenever we cover anything on this show.
Yeah, right?
This is something I've wanted to cover for a long time.
Yeah.
But this is like top of the list.
This is a deep cut, though. I feel like...
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't remember this show. I mean, like, in the horror world, yeah, but also, like, I feel like I'm crazy when I tell people about Ghostwriter, and they're like, what the fuck is that? But I feel like we talked about it yesterday. It's a very, like, specific thing. Like, New York in the 90s, like, kids, it's us, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, you know what? It aired on PBS, and when you... I mean, I would agree. It's like the forgotten live-action kids show from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, it got outshined by Goosebumps, which we all love. Pete and Pete, Power Rangers... Stuff like that. I guess those shows, all that, which was a sketch show, but still live action. I'm guessing all those shows sort of, and they were all on at the same time when you think about it. But I guess that's the one that
also,
was...
like, if you didn't have cable, you were watching PBS, right?
Right.
Because it was there. I mean, and there was times, a lot of times when we were growing up that we did not have cable. So
yeah. I mean, it was always on and off. We've talked about it on the show before, but yeah, I don't know. It's I wouldn't say it's a niche show. It's not a huge show, but there's a demographic of people that watch Ghostwriter, and if you mention like Ghostwriter, 9 times out of 10 they remember Gooey Gus, right? Which is, I think,
and the Thabtos, which were the guys with the 2 faces.
Yeah,
those are like the top 2 things like burned into my memory about this show.
Yeah, I mean that because the show, and I have it here. It ran only for 3 seasons.
Right.
From 92 to 95 on PBS, like we mentioned. And I think there was like a weird special in the middle there that they ran, like an hour-long special. So it didn't have a long run. Maybe that's why. You think of stuff like, you know, some of the other live action shows that were on at the time had, 4 or 5 seasons. This only had 3.
Right.
So it wasn't this long running.
Comparatively, even on PBS, you had like shit like Zoom and Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, like all these long running shows, right? Whereas this was like 3 seasons and that was it.
I mean, the only other thing I could think of that was on PBS at the time that I think a lot of people like loved was, it's animated, but was like Arthur.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, around this time. Maybe a little
I would think so, yeah. Maybe a little later, but...
Yeah, but I think, Arthur was on PBS, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right? So, didn't they just shut PBS down recently?
Yes.
Like, I think they finally shut it down.
They defunded it. Yeah, they defunded it entirely.
Damn. Pour one out for PBS.
PBS.
Sick.
Listen, that's where we watched Bob Ross.
Yeah.
My favorite
Mr. Rogers.
show. Mr. Rogers. My favorite show, Learn to Read. Welcome to Learn to Read. Remember that show?
Yeah, Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
Like, come on, man. PBS
that was the other. That was probably the other like live action show that everyone knew.
Take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow.
There we go. Look at that angelic voice just coming through the mic for all the listeners. I agree. Ghostwriter was just, it's not appreciated. And even for this episode, me going back, I was very familiar with these episodes. I did like leave it on and watch a couple of episodes. Like I had them on in the background. I wouldn't say I was like sitting there and paying attention like I did these 4 episodes. But it had a lot of potential. It was definitely a show teaching kids how to use like nouns and verbs and adjectives and things like that.
It was a learning show. Like it was an informative show.
Which made sense for PBS. That's what all the shows on PBS were really teaching kids.
I remember there being like merch back in the day, like Ghostwriter. Yeah, like notebooks and stuff, like branded.
I remember that,
like,
I think, vaguely.
Yeah, like how they had the notebooks in the show with like the branding on it. I remember, I had to have been in like 3rd grade, something like that, and I had a folder and the notebook with the Ghostwriter branding on it because like I was obsessed with this show as a kid.
How do you market the actual ghost? He's a dot, a floating.
It's probably just like the logo.
I don't know if there was
of the
ever like a
show.
toy, like a Ghostwriter toy, which would have been like cool, right? Like a little light up thing, right? Like that would have worked.
It's interesting to go back and watch because of, and we're going to get into what the show's about. I have a little breakdown here of what Ghostwriter is actually about, in case you're one of the people Chris is mentioning that has no idea what we're talking about.
It's a Nicolas Cage
right
movie where he plays a guy who rides a motorcycle and his head's on fire.
It's not that Ghostwriter.
I didn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm younger than you guys, but I didn't know what it was when you mentioned it. I was like, I've never.
You guys are on the show.
I know.
There's two
It is
characters
us.
who are basically you guys on the show.
It's. I was like, it felt kind of like a fever dream getting into it, but like, I can't believe I never seen this show. Or it didn't even ring a bell to me, considering that it's a bunch of kids in New York.
Yeah.
And authentically in New York,
Like,
not
yeah,
like
legit, not like
fucking
soundstage
Canada
in
or
New
Chicago
York. Yeah,
disguised as New York. Like actually in the city, there's so much to it that I would have been all over. I think
It's a
that's
very
and I love to
ethnic
write
show.
too.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Every character is like or most of them are a person of color. I mean, we get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah,
eventually,
we'll
but
get into that. I'm sure
yeah,
when we go through the
it's pretty
episode.
cool.
Yeah, I knew. It's funny when I texted in our group chat. My I don't know, because I'll be honest, this wasn't a show I watched much as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why my sister probably has no idea of what this is. And the episodes I did watch is this one.
Yeah.
And I think I caught it by accident. And it was when they were doing like a marathon of them. And I don't even know what year this was, where I watched literally the entire, I think I caught the first Gooey Gus, like Attack of the Slime Monster episode halfway through, and then just watched the other three. And I don't even remember where or when this was. I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch Ghostwriter religiously. And then if you think about it, 95, that was like prime Goosebumps time for me. So that's what I was probably watching more because of my interest. So that's probably why I wasn't like this Ghostwriter stan, which trickles down to my sister not watching it because I didn't religiously watch it. And honestly, the last 30-something years, it's really the Attack of the Slime Monster arc that I remember the most about this show for obvious reasons. So if you're not familiar with Ghostwriter, if you're one of the few that has no idea what the three of us are talking about, Ghostwriter follows a gang, or a club, I guess they are. They're not really a gang. They're from Brooklyn, New York, so maybe they are a gang. But a group of kids who are friends, family members. It's like an amalgamation of everything.
Classmates,
Yeah, there's like a group. It's like a group of like, I don't know, 8 kids too. This is a like large group of children.
Well, yeah, we'll get into like who's who, but also like I remember like the core cast was 5 kids in the beginning, like the first episodes.
And
where
then they introduced other kids.
Yeah, then they started adding like in the Gooey Gus episodes. There's also a kid who like it was in it in the middle that like left and
he just vanished like they did on these
like they just did on
children's
these shows. It
shows.
just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like some of the characters in the Gooey Gus episode are like later introductions to the show.
Okay.
I don't even have their names down, so you're gonna have to help me with
man.
that.
We got Alex and Gabby, which are you two.
Yeah.
We got the 2 Puerto Rican kids, an older brother and a younger sister, who live in the bodega.
which is listen.
No, they
to
actually
have
do
the
live in the bodega. I'm not like
to
making that up.
have the 2 like Puerto Rican kids live in the bodega.
They live in the back room.
Wild stuff. What a wild creation.
Isn't that wild? New York has changed a bit. Maybe
Yeah.
not so much anymore, but that was pretty common.
I
to
just love
live
how they
above
have
the business you owned.
they have an
No,
apartment.
they live in the back. Yeah, in
They
the back.
do
live in the
in the
back-
In
janitor
the back
closet.
of the bodega.
They're behind, like the front of the apartment is the bodega, and the back is like their living, like their
Yeah,
living
the door
area.
said uvas
Right.
con carne.
Whatever that means.
Yes. So there's Alex and Gabby, Jamal, Lenny, and Tina. Those are the 5 like core characters. Those are the ones
Casey
that,
is
like,
Jamal's younger cousin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come in later, like Casey and Hector. They're like later additions to the show. So the 5 like core characters are those 5. Those are the 5 from the beginning to the end.
And they're the older
plus, like,
characters too.
They're the older characters
of the bunch.
And like Jamal's grandma comes in and out of the show. Alex and Gabby's parents come in and out of the show. Their father specifically. Lenny's dad is a musician who comes in and out of the show. So like they're a rotating cast, but those 5 are like they're the ones that discover Ghostwriter in the first episode. He's a ghost and he writes to us. Ghostwriter.
That's it. You don't even need a plot
simple.
anymore for this show. What the show's about.
They summed it up right there.
Yeah, but that group of characters that Chris just rattled off, them with the help of a ghost named Ghostwriter, they just solve random mysteries. That's sort of their deal. The ghost uses letters and words it sees to manipulate them and speak. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
That's basically
how
how
communicate with
doesn't
them.
talk.
to communicate. He doesn't
right,
speak.
yeah.
He communicates by taking words and like shifting them around.
Right, like signs in the bodega, signs on
Yeah.
in their apartments,
On
like
the
things like
computer.
that.
Street signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he uses that to communicate with them and helps them solve different mysteries that are happening. Each episode or each mystery, which I didn't realize this. I thought it was just specific to this episode, to this like story, but no. Every mystery is a 4-episode arc, which is crazy. That's like they always dedicated 4 episodes for the most part. I think there might be 1 or 2 that were less, like 2 or 3 episodes, but it's always usually 4 episodes, which is wild. Like 4 30-minute episodes, but that's still 2 hours dedicated to one mystery.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, because it was a Monday through Thursday show, right?
Yeah.
With
Oh,
no
they
new
would play it
episodes
every
Friday,
day.
they would just play it every day, and you would get the mystery of the week.
I didn't know that.
Which is cool. Like, you know,
It
it's
is cool. There's also like continuity throughout the show, which I was surprised to see because again, I've never seen Ghostwriter. But when I like was watching this episode in particular, this 4-part series in particular, they jump around between like what the kids are up to outside of solving the mystery, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is she playing the piano?
Oh, we'll
I
get
was
into
just
that.
like, yeah.
Into-
That was surprising, but I guess it makes sense that there's continuity besides the mystery because it's being played every day.
It feels like a children's soap opera, if we're being honest. That's what it kind of comes off as, like the look of it, the sets, what's happening, the plot. Like it feels very much like a children. It's I wouldn't even call it. That's a sitcom, I guess, like a learning sitcom, but very soap opera.
It's like an adventure show, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the point of it was like you could. For kids, it was like interactive because you could, and even in the like I watched it on YouTube because I don't know where else you can even possibly find it. But the rips on YouTube have the intercuts from PBS of like you can help us solve the mystery and write into Ghostwriter, and that was like the appeal of the show was right, like you could help.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah, you could help solve these mysteries, so that's why you got the 4, and then Friday you didn't have an episode, so you would have the weekend to write in your answers and send them to PBS.
Ah, did you ever write to Ghostwriter?
Fucking A, of course I did.
He was right. You were like, I solved the mystery, Ghostwriter. Did he write back?
No.
Did you get like a bunch of letters moving?
I've never gotten a Ghostwriter.
You never got a return letter from him?
Also, I feel like because it was a ghost that wasn't scary, that's more accessible for kids too, right? Like, as a kid,
a friendly ghost.
Yeah, you hear ghost and you think scary, and what options are there besides like Ghostwriter and Casper as like not scary?
Which is counterproductive to this episode, which is interesting because there's a ghost and then a monster, a slime monster, kind of like just like it's bizarre. They're scared of the slime monster, but not this ghost that can move
secret
letters.
Entity.
One more thing I want to mention about the show, we kind of you joked about it, how like we said there's a very ethnic show. Yeah, it's one of the few shows of this nature that is a group of Latino kids, African American kids, Asian kids, basically all minorities living in New York City, in Brooklyn, dealing with all these mysteries. There weren't a lot of shows like this. Like if you think about it, I even mentioned Goosebumps and The Adventures of Pete and Pete. All like Are You Afraid of the Dark? All like suburban kids you know, in dealing with their mysteries and horrific things that are happening.
Very, very different, like, appeals, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, being a kid from the city, you can relate more to, like, there's even a shot in this episode where you see Casey walking down the street and there's like a legit actual Brooklyn bodega behind him. You see graffiti on the wall. Like, she's actually in the hood. She is in Brooklyn.
You see like the basketball courts. Just, you know, I'll point out the fashion. Just very because 90s. I'm wearing the hat. Even just the fashion just feels very New York. The fits are sick, man. Yeah. I love them. Even Slime Monster's got a sick fit.
Oh yeah. He's out here looking like a dominatrix. We'll talk about him in 2 seconds.
He even has a New York outfit on.
But that's what I like about it, even revisiting these 4 episodes, just like it being the kids, I guess, when I was little, I could relate to more. Like I knew what bodegas were. I knew what arroz
we went
con
around
pollo
by ourselves all the time.
You know, there's certain like different things that they say, and like the Latino kids actually like talk like Spanglish. Like they actually like use English words and Spanish words combined, which like you know, me and Samantha heard growing up, and then seeing just diverse kids because that's just how it is in New York City growing up. In, you know, that's just how it always was. There was just people from different backgrounds.
Exactly. Like in class, in school, you had this, if you went to school in New York and it was like a public school, you had this diverse group of people around you, and it wasn't a thing. You didn't bat an eye about it, you know? Yeah,
it was like the norm to see that all the time, and ahead of its time. You know, just like, you know, we've covered Goosebumps and we've covered so many shows, so many kids shows at this point. So like just to see, like, we finally with these episodes hit a show where it's like, all right, like it feels,
it's very us.
It feels more like us.
4-part series is very us.
It took some time to hit it, but we finally hit a show that's like, all right, it's a bunch of, you know, Spanish, Black, everything. There's everything in this show.
A bunch of little New York kids trying to write a story. Isn't that what we do?
And some of them live in apartments. Some of them live in houses. Some of them live in bodegas. So like, it's all walks of life, which I appreciated. Now let's get into the main event, the main topic, the main reason we're here. Diving into the insanity, the 4-part insanity that is Ghostwriter, Attack of the Slime Monster.
I'll keep it frozen. It might help us figure out a way to defeat the slime monster.
Yeah, it may be safe for now, but he's still out there, somewhere.
So Attack of the Slime Monster is part of Season 3, Episodes 9, 10, 11, 12. This aired originally on January 22nd, 1995, all the way to February 12th, 1995. So those days, boom, 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 boom. Crazy. What a long run there for
31 years ago.
There you go. Make you feel young, Chris? 31 years ago? Basically, at this point.
7.
There you go. 31 years ago is when this aired. So Attack of the Slime Monster follows the Ghostwriter gang as they face 2 challenges, like every junior high school kid.
You do.
First, graduating from junior high. And second, most importantly, helping Casey, Jamal's younger cousin that we mentioned before, write a story for a contest. One caveat, by the way, that I want to mention here in my breakdown of these episodes: no blood, no guns, which is a weird. They point that out
more than
a handful of times.
Yeah.
Like the story can't have any blood or guns.
I mean, it makes sense. Because it's a kid show.
You gotta make it scary. It's for kids.
Right.
But why, like, no blood wasn't, like, why do they have to point that out? Gun? Like, no guns. You can't.
I mean, maybe that was like a PBS thing. Like they had.
I was gonna say maybe it was like an educational purpose. Like you can write a scary story without including bloods and guns.
Knives are cool though. You can stab
Knives are
somebody.
cool.
But I guess the blood negates the use of a knife.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so weird because I think Casey, she's like, no gun and no blood, guys. You can't blow someone's head off. Literally, that is a line of dialogue in this episode where one of them's like, you can't just blow someone's head off. I'm like, okay. Takes the fun out of this story, I guess. So the story is inspired by a toy doll that was recently gifted to Casey, the titular purple slime monster, our boy, Gooey Gus.
Ooh.
We're going to dive into him a little more in a few minutes. He starts off small for now.
About 14 inches, right?
Yeah. He's small for now, and he's made up entirely of purple bubblegum. And his backstory, I was chuckling the second time because I watched these 4 episodes twice. The backstory when Casey, because she just goes into it. She's like, I think she's telling, is it Gabby or she's telling Lenny? I think she's telling Lenny the story of Gooey Gus. She's like, there was a worker at the gum factory and he forgot to turn off the machine and it went haywire. And then all the bubbling caused Gooey Gus to emerge from the gum. I was like, wow, who needs a story when she already has one right there? Did they need everyone else to be involved to kind of create this Gooey Gus tale for this contest? So the group each takes a crack. So every episode, they take a crack at writing a different part of the story.
Very telephone.
Yeah.
We're not going to, in this breakdown, we're not going to get into we'll be here for 5 hours if we go into every detail of each kid's story, but they sprinkle their own personalities and ideas. Mm-hmm. So like Alex, he makes himself brave. What's the Asian girl's name again, Chris? I forget her name.
Tina.
She wants it to be empowered women. Like they each add their own little detail to how the characters are going to be portrayed in the story, which is cool. But the main thing they do to each other while writing this story is they leave a cliffhanger for the next writer to figure out, which is a cool
which is a very cool concept. Yeah.
It's like, this one's locked up in bubblegum. This one's, Gooey Gus is holding on to this one's leg. Look, what's going to happen next?
What's behind the door?
It's a cool exercise. It's a cool writing exercise, if nothing else.
Yeah. Gooey Gus is 100 feet tall. What are they going to do now? So I do like that. And I forgot about that aspect of these episodes, that's like a thing. And they kind of have to figure it out. They make mistakes while telling the story. And it's very fourth wall breaking where the character versions of them in the story, when something goes wrong, looks at the camera and is like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, or winks at it because he's like, they're making their main character more important than everyone else. But the story is very simple that they're writing. Gooey Gus, he's alive, and he's causing all kinds of slimy chaos around Brooklyn. He kidnaps Gabby, cocoons her in bubblegum. He's searching for hot spots, which make him more powerful. So, steam coming from the sewers.
I'm burning mad. I'm steaming mad.
Yes. Yeah. Got that down too. Don't worry. He's looking for ovens and pots and he just wants
trying
to
stay hot. And
yes. One would presume it's because he
needs to stay gooey.
That way.
Yeah. It makes him more powerful, basically, in a nutshell. That's it. He becomes a more powerful, gooey, slimy monster. Eventually, he grows to a massive size. And
Andre the Giant.
I mean, they say he's 6 feet tall.
They say, 7 feet tall.
And he's huge. He's blasting purple goo on anyone who gets close to him. It happens several times.
Yeah.
And then that's when the group along with the help of Ghostwriter, who really doesn't do much until like my man's chilling this ghost like half the episode. He's not really helping them in the like they add him to the story later, and I'm like, it took you guys that long to add your supernatural
I forgot
friend.
that Ghostwriter was. I forgot it was his show.
No, but it's like it took them 2 episodes to figure out like, why don't we add Ghostwriter to the show? He's supernatural and could probably help us defeat this this slime monster. But he helps them, and he steps in and has to help them stop this slimy menace once and for all. And that was Attack of the Slime Monster. Ghostwriter's Attack of the Slime Monster. Ghostwriter Attack of the Slime Monster. There's only one Ghostwriter, not plural.
You laughing at me? You laughing at me?
So the first thing I want to talk about after that breakdown, the main attraction, the main reason we watched.
Do you have a Gooey Gus doll?
No, I put up a post on the Instagram just because it popped in my mind, and I think on the Facebook, like the Twitter, the Haunted Hangover Twitter, that the fact that we in 2026 we don't have.
Yeah, that's wild. That some company, like somebody
hasn't done a reproduction.
Has not made it. Yeah,
yeah. Like again, it's probably super niche. They're not going to make a lot of money, but I'd totally drop.
Let's get him back in the zeitgeist with this episode.
I would totally drop whatever the asking price is for a Gooey Gus,
like a 14-inch, right? Like an
actual like the size,
absolutely,
of,
like the one that's like sitting in the episode for most of
like
the time.
the one Casey has that she's toy, the basic toy. No,
Yo,
I want a 6 foot tall.
If it talked and said Gooey Gus's lines, I'd pay top dollar for that. Whoever's listening, make that shit happen.
Trick or Treat Studios, somebody's got to do it. I don't know how we don't have an actual reproduction of Gooey Gus on the market, even if they do like a limited run, like 500 of them and that's it, because like it just baffles the mind. But Gooey Gus, gotta describe him here. We talked a little bit about him earlier, but we didn't talk about his clothes. Samantha says that Sammy said that he's very stylish.
He is stylish. He looks like a Brooklyn hipster now.
He does.
That's what he's dressed like.
He's wearing. We talked about him being purple and slimy. He kind of looks Toxic Avenger-esque. Like one eye is...
His face is a little droopy.
Slouchy with his teeth poking out.
A little toxy.
He's wearing a vinyl, like trench coat with the collar popped.
Yeah.
A red turtleneck.
Yeah.
And like little boots. They look like little Tims. Again,
they are little Tims.
Are they?
Yes. I'm like, that's the most New York shit I've ever seen. Even the monster has Tims on.
He's walking around and he's tiny. So until he becomes massive, when he becomes huge, he's a guy in basically a suit of the little version. The same outfit, same thing, but it's like a mask that I guess it's like almost like a puppet when you move. I guess the person inside the costume was moving the mouth somehow.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was talking when he was 6 feet tall. But they do some great stuff with Gooey Gus where you see his feet walking on the ground, and it's not even like a little person. It's actually like a doll. You can tell they're like moving a little.
They're just like they're just
his body. Waddling the doll around. You see him slide down the railing of a set of steps. He just pops up sitting there. There's a shot of him wearing like mitts, a winter hat, and a scarf because he wants to stay hot. Like he is the star of this episode.
Yo, I will say, I remember being traumatized as a kid by this little motherfucker. Scared
He's so scary.
Shitless. Yo, 7-year-old me scared shitless.
And what's weird is the episode isn't trying to be scary.
But he's so
as a
scary.
7-year-old kid, when
course.
you're like, you see yourself in these kids and this shit is happening to them, right? And then you're like, yo, fuck, I'm next. I'm going to wake up in purple gum.
Which to me, and I don't want to jump into that just yet, but that is scarier to me than...
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that visual in a specific shot that I'll talk about in a second here. That to me was scarier, creepier than Gooey Gus the doll.
Right.
But
I mean, he's a monster. He's a monster.
Yeah,
he's a scary monster.
Yeah. And what's funny is he's a scary monster, but he's 14 inches. He's not the biggest. He's not.
And
the
he only
most
says like
threatening.
3 things. He doesn't have like a big, robust vocabulary about how he's coming to get you. He says like 3 things. The
I'm
entire
burning
4
mad.
episodes.
I'm steaming
Yeah.
mad, which you hear 100 times.
Don't
You
laugh at me.
Don't laugh at me.
You laughing at me? You
Yeah.
laughing at me?
Yeah.
And then slime anyone?
Yeah, that's it. That's all he says.
That's literally
Which I'm
all-
saying, like,
that's
yo,
how-
a pull string on the back of a Gooey Gus with
Would be
those
so
3 in the
cool.
voice box? Come on.
That's how Chucky started too.
Yeah.
you know?
100%. Yeah,
It's still scary.
That's kind of what he reminds me of.
I
He's
think
like
there's
a
a,
Like a
lot,
kid's
kid's
version.
a lot of like horror movie inspiration that we'll get into in
Yeah.
in various aspects of this episode.
He is a killer doll, even though he doesn't kill anybody, but
Right.
he is a killer doll, or an evil doll, I should say, that doesn't get the love he deserves.
Yeah.
He should be up there with Chucky and even
You think
like
he could take Chucky in a
Slappy.
fight?
I think
just
so. He'll
put him
cover
in
him
a
in
bubble.
bubble gum. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll cover him in bubble gum. Now, onto the scary aspects of this show. To me, and I just kind of alluded to it, the creepiest shot in the entire like 4-story arc is Gabby in that dark tunnel, covered, terrifying, covered
Yeah.
in the purple cocoon, popping, like blowing bubbles and popping them. That to me is the scariest visual of the whole thing. And it's
Yeah.
the only like real dark segment. And Alex is brave. Well, he's brave in the story. He makes himself brave. He goes into this tunnel to find her and then pull her out of it. So like I even as a kid, I remember that visual the most. Her
Yeah.
in the tunnel.
Yeah, like it's a dark tunnel, right? Like darkish. And the bubble gum coming out of her mouth is like, you don't know it as a kid, but like she's struggling to breathe, right? Like that's
Yeah.
fucking creepy.
It's terrifying.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point. It's like
Yeah.
that's how they threaten, he's threatening death on these kids if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they're
what's his deal?
trying to defeat him. They're trying to save her and then defeat him and then figure out how they can defeat him while he's like running amok in Brooklyn.
Right.
Which even
Yeah.
that alone is a visual. It's like a creepy visual, like this little doll just stumbling across Brooklyn. And then there's that great scene where when Gabby gets kidnapped by
In the
Gooey
wagon.
Gus in the wagon.
Yeah.
Where did he get the fucking wagon from?
Yo, he just got it somewhere in somebody's yard
There's
in New
some
York
plot
City.
holes in that story.
Oh, there's
they're
massive
writing.
plot holes in this whole story. These are 12-year-olds writing this, so I gotta let that slide.
Right, they're not.
But his little
They're not winning a
feet
Pulitzer
in
for
front of
this.
the wagon dragging her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny and like so non-threatening at the same time.
And like, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Where did he get this wagon
It's
from?
New York City. He took it out of somebody's yard or something. That's
Somebody's
all.
trash
And then he commandeers a little boat. And he
in
takes-
Prospect Park.
in
In Prospect Park, yeah, in the pond in Prospect Park. Which
is-
I'm glad you mentioned that one because we talked about how this is like it's obviously inspired by horror movies.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell that whoever did this episode was not inspired by the raft in Creepshow 2. The Gooey Gus stuff on the boat in Prospect Park is so similar to the raft in Creepshow 2. Like it's gotta be inspired by it.
Maybe.
It's gotta be.
subtly probably. But that
Yeah.
that segment too, what I love about it is I think Alex says he's gonna jump into the water to swim after the boat, and then one of the kids are like, jump into the pond in Prospect Park.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you fucking nuts?
what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
There's like chemicals and all kinds of crap
But
floating
that's
in
one of
there.
those things that, like, just as kids, we always heard growing up, like, you don't
Yeah.
swim in New York water, right? Like, that
Yeah.
was just a
Ponds.
thing you heard.
You
In the
stay away
ponds and
from
the
that.
rivers, you just never did that.
That whole sequence is
So
fantastic. Everything with him is phenomenal. Just kind of Gooey Gus everywhere. And then even in the real world,
Yeah.
while they're like writing the story, And this is where you kind of get lost a little bit, because the doll and you guys tell me if I miss something. So the doll in the real world, not in the story, is also moving around and going missing mysteriously.
Yeah.
Do they don't know what's going on.
Do we ever find out who's moving him around?
No, but I feel like the way that it ended,
right? You don't know
it's
if it's
almost
all
it's
part
almost
of the story
like
or not.
it's so meta-theatrical, right?
Yeah.
So we don't actually know if maybe they were making us believe that he was moving on his own, and they were actually really doing it themselves to the audience. I don't know. They don't say it, but that's how I gathered. That's what I gathered from it too.
The whole episode's like a gotcha joke. I mean, they even say it, gotcha, like it's a whole...
Also, when it ends, that's it. This was the last Ghostwriter episodes ever.
What a wild way to end the show.
I mean, I get like they're graduating, right? So you can use that as the end, right? They're moving from middle school, but like that's it. Nothing. There's nothing after this.
You could see some of the kids were like had mustaches almost, like Jamal at this point. He had little sideburns, and like they were getting older, so they probably just had to end the show.
Yeah.
But it is
not
a
like
wild
Stranger Things.
No, not as bad as Stranger Things. No, you can like it is a bizarre way. Like what a story to tell.
Let's put a little horror story to end this series.
And even how the episode ends, that we didn't even get into how we're on the subject of Gooey Gus, so we should talk about how he's defeated. But what a just bizarre way to end this type of show. So there's two things that happen in this episode when it comes to like them figuring out while writing the story how to defeat Gooey Gus. There's like a false ending. Where they're going to be nice to Gooey Gus and like kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Gooey Gus, he's like, oh, I'm ugly. I'm hideous.
Are you laughing at me?
Are you laughing at me? That's why he says that.
Yeah.
He compares himself to an eggplant. Barney at one point. There's a Barney reference, which is wild.
Barney without saying Barney.
Yeah. That purple dinosaur, he says. And then
also PBS, right?
Yeah, PBS.
Yeah.
But they couldn't flat out say Barney. It's just like the purple dinosaur. You know who they're talking about. But there's that sequence there. Even they're like, that's a terrible ending. Like, we can't end it this way.
I love during that scene where like Gabby breaks the fourth wall after she tells him like, no, you're not hideous.
Yeah.
And then she looks at the camera and
She
goes,
looks right at the
I'm
camera.
trying to save my life here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
She is...
She is so sassy. I love
That
her.
is the sassiest. You could just tell this girl's from New York. With her door knocker
biggest
ears.
crush,
accent.
the biggest crush on Gabby growing up.
Really?
Yeah. Yo, there was two actresses that played Gabby. They recast her at one point in the show.
Oh, really?
And the one that's in the Gooey Gus episodes is the one that I had the hugest crush on back in the day.
Oh, that is hilarious. With her door knockers?
She's the only one really with like a little accent too.
Yeah.
I mean like a New York kind of Latina accent.
She has some great lines too, because there's one line where she goes, we got to find the slime monster before he slimes us to death. That's literally a line of dialogue. And then there's another line she says where she's like, come on, Casey, we're strong women. We can do this.
We can do this.
We can do this. When they're opening the roof door, when they're trying to like break in. Yeah, she's got some great one-liners. Like, you could tell they wrote that character as like the comedy relief of the group. I didn't know that they recasted her. That was news to me, Chris.
Yeah.
Wait, was it for the third season? Did they recast her in this season?
I don't remember if it was the third season or what, but it was like if you look on YouTube, you can look up the intro with both versions of Gabby, and she was recast. I don't remember when it was.
Is there a drastic difference?
Specifically, a little bit, yeah. Like this.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, 7-year-old me knowing the difference is like that's big enough, right? Like if a 7-year-old could clock it. But yeah, I just remember like they recast her, and I thought that the second one was like I had the maddest crush on that girl.
Damn, all right, Chris.
I wonder what she's doing now.
7-year-old
They were probably all roughly our same age, right?
A little bit older, maybe,
right?
Maybe only
but
a couple
probably
years.
just around the same age as us.
So yeah, on the ending, how Gooey Gus is defeated. So Jamal, the karate master, apparently, and science guy. That's what his character is, right, on the show, Chris?
Yeah,
I'm guessing he's like the scientific man.
Yeah.
He's reading in like the science books how gum is made, and he finds out that vegetable oil is something that could like melt gum, which I don't know how accurate that is. I didn't look into it myself.
I didn't bother to look that up, but I feel like that kind of makes sense. Like an oil it defeats the stickiness to it, I guess.
I guess. I was
like waiting for peanut butter the whole episode.
Yeah.
Which they completely is like the old wives' tale is like peanut butter removes gum from your pants and things.
Not one person suggested it, not even grandma.
Yeah. It's like ice, which is a big part of defeating him. They like put a bunch of ice cubes around Gabby, and then Jamal karate chops her out of the he karate chops her.
I had to keep reminding myself that they are writing this story that you're watching. Right. Because like a lot of times I'm like, what is going on now? This is so silly. And I'm like, oh wait, they're just writing this on a computer. Like none of this is actually happening.
My man Jamal, played by one of the best actor names ever in the history of life. My man's name is Sheldon Turnipseed.
Really?
What a fucking name.
Whoa.
That is. You sure that's not a stage name? That's a legit.
I don't know. Sheldon Turnipseed is Jamal.
What's he doing these days with that name?
I would love to look up what all of them are doing now.
Well,
yeah, we need to. I want to know.
Well, the one girl who plays Lenny was in Pet Sematary before this. She's the daughter in Pet Sematary, which it took me a second to realize until you and I, Chris, were texting each other back and forth. I was like, oh shit, that is the daughter from the original Pet Sematary in 89.
Is it her though, or is it her twin sister? Because I know they are twins.
I think it's the daughter. It's the daughter, the main daughter in the original Pet Sematary.
I think in Pet Sematary it was both of the twins because they were like younger and they could only use kids for however many long,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the same actress. But yeah, so Jamal comes up with this vegetable oil deal. He teams the rest of the group all get cocooned in gum and purple gum. They go back to the apartment, to I think Lenny's apartment, right? Who's with him in that? Well, who's with Jamal in that sequence?
Alex.
Yes. They go back. No, it's not Alex.
No,
he's in a cocoon.
Hector.
No, all of them are in a cocoon.
Oh,
Jamal,
it's Tina.
Him
and Tina.
Oh, right, because
Tina
is with Lenny.
Yes.
And her brother, because they're writing their graduation song.
She said she was hiding from him or something.
She was hiding from Gooey Gus. She's the only one using her noggin to hide from him. The rest of them get caught slipping and they get turned into a bubblegum cocoon. So they go back to the apartment with their vegetable oil that they got at the bodega. And Jamal is teasing Gooey Gus. He's like, you're ugly and you're purple. And I'm going to chew you up. You're terrible.
Rude. That's rude.
He's real rude. And then Tina, she comes up behind Gooey Gus, pours the oil on his head. He melts. The rest of the group is set free. And then the story's over. And that's how they defeat him in their story. The actual episode ends with them at a party on a roof celebrating graduation and getting Ghostwriter pens. Yeah. And then Gooey Gus is inside of
their neck.
I do like how the episode ends with another jump square, another gotcha.
Yeah,
and
it's a little bit of you don't know. Yeah,
this goes back to my original point. Like, who's moving Gooey Gus around? Was he alive the entire time? Because the actual episode in the real world ends with Gooey Gus inside of the grill. Yeah, and he shoots goo at them.
And they say, "Gotcha,
gotcha." And then it's over. And I'm like,
what? It's over. And then it's really never to be seen again.
It is until 2019, the horrible reboot that they did.
Listen, if any of you cast of Ghostwriter is currently listening to this episode, slide into the DMs. We'd love to interview you about potential season 4 plans that you may or may not have known about 30 years ago.
I mean, if I had the chance to interview anyone on Ghostwriter, it would literally just be about these 4 episodes.
Yo, Sheldon Turnipseed. I get. He cannot be that hard to find. It's got that's a pretty unique name.
Find
Jamal,
anyone.
We need you.
Find a couple of people from this episode, Chris, and we will
what's wild?
try to get an interview with them.
I still see the grandmother on commercials on TV.
Really?
Marcella, whatever her name is. She's on commercials all the time. And the kid who played Hector went on to go on The Real World.
Really?
In his 20s.
I had no
he was
idea.
on The Real World.
Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a weird ending, the way they ended this show. I mean, I love it, but it's just bizarre way to end end the sequence, like end
to
the
end the
entire like, arc.
series.
Yeah.
Like to end this 4-parter. Okay, that's cool, but like just to end all their whole like ghostwriting experience together as friends and family, to end it on Gooey Gus is kind of wild.
I think like I mean, I know the show got canceled, right? Because it just wasn't producing the numbers that they had wanted. Like it doesn't have an end. You know what I mean? Like there's no like, they don't even know who Ghostwriter is. They don't find out like who he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was just shocked to see
there's no
that was like how it
finality to
ended.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's slime time.
What?
He's overheated and alive. He could be going around the city sliming people to death. We've got to find him before it's too late.
Now, Sammy, you out of the three of us, you didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. What were your thoughts as soon as it was over after this 4-part epic? What I can't imagine what you must have been thinking. Like, what is this? Because the first thing you text Chris and I was, I can't believe I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no recollection of this. There are so many things that I know existed that I haven't actually watched. My brain, but this did not ring a single bell. The intro didn't click for me. The characters, I couldn't believe that I either never watched it or never remembered it. Because I feel like I even if I watched one episode, I definitely would have remembered Gooey Gus because his character is so like memorable with his little boots. But yeah, I think I didn't give myself any backstory going into it. I just kind of watched it. I was surprised again, like I mentioned before, with the continuity of the story. I was like, I guess I expected it to be more episodic. So when they started going off on the side, talking about going to prom and what we're gonna do at graduation, I was like, what does this have to do with anything?
I guess because the show was ending. Then the show was ending.
Exactly. So I realized that the show was ending at that point. I'm curious. We obviously followed Gooey Gus because this is what we do here at Haunted Hangover. But I'm curious to watch another episode and see what other kind of mysteries they solve in particular. Like, what are the other topics that they kind of go over? A bunch of different
things. There's a bunch.
Yeah, so I'm curious about that. But I think it's like a really
the ones with
cool
Julia
concept.
Stiles.
Julia Stiles. Oh, sign me up.
Young Julia Stiles.
I would love to watch that.
There was a couple of people like if you watch the whole show, you're like, oh, that person's in it.
Yeah, I saw there was random cameos.
What's his name? Warriors.
Oh, I forget the actor's name. He was on Twin Peaks too. Yeah,
Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a bunch of episodes.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say he played like a homeless guy that they had to help like find something.
A Brooklyn homeless man.
Maybe like his ex-lover or something. I might be mixing up a couple of different plots, but I know he was on the show for a couple episodes.
Yeah, very curious.
But Gooey Gus himself, these episodes, Sammy, what did you think of them when all is said and done? The final episode, it concluded the tale of the attack of the slime monster, Gooey Gus attacking these children and spraying them with goo. What did you think of this tale?
I love this character. They started off really strong. We get introduced to Gooey Gus almost like immediately, and the first time I saw him on the TV, it was like a jump scare. I'm like, ew, what the fuck is that thing? And he's just like spitting up. So at that point, they kind of like grab you, and I'm like locked in. I mean, for me, you know how I am with child actors. It's hard for me.
This is a rough one. I won't deny it.
This is a rough one. I could have done 2
is...
episodes of this shit. 4 episodes was hard. 4 episodes were hard.
There's some pretty wooden performances, but they're also children, so you gotta
They're also children. And,
yeah. I mean, we always say that when we talk about these episodes because there have been some solid performances from kids.
Yeah, we've gotten some good Goosebumps ones.
But Ghostwriter really is like,
woo.
It's
I
mahogany.
I know. I gotta take
mentioned
it for
a
what
little
it
bit
is.
Before, the song that they write is fucking dog shit.
Oh
The
my
song sucks.
God.
I don't want to get into that just yet because that's one of the things about this episode I don't like.
Okay, great.
But
Well,
before we get into that, so I have a couple things here I want to mention, just little weird things I noticed. There's one really bizarre. I don't know. Maybe this is my twisted mind how it works.
Oh my gosh.
In episode 2, right? And I made sure to write a note of this.
All right, let me see my notes.
I think before I get into this, I think, we watch this on YouTube. The quality is not great.
Right.
It's really, almost borderline. I mean, you can make out what's on the screen. It's not that bad, but like it is a little pixelated. It's not 4K. We did not watch this in that quality at all.
I don't even think it existed in 4K.
No. There is a DVD box set of I think all 3 seasons, FYI.
Okay.
I don't know if it's out of print currently, but they did sell a physical release of it. So in episode 2, this sequence alone is amazing. So Gooey Gus ends up in the arroz con pollo. Because again, he's trying to get hot all the time, right? So he ends up in the arroz con pollo. He's legit in it. He's in the pot, boiling.
Yeah.
It's hot. They smell. I think Alex, he smells. He's like, what's that smell? And they go out from the apartment to the front bodega and they see the pot. They remove the lid. Gooey Gus is in there. After this part, right? Alex, he goes over to the register. And I don't know if you guys picked up on this. And maybe, again, my mind is, I think of the worst. There is I can't tell if it's a man, a kid, a customer, the most bizarre looking. And I feel bad because I don't know if I'm in the
did
back.
Not clock this.
He almost looks like a character pulled out of the Burbs. He's just like standing there with his hand out like this. He almost looks like he has a hump on his back because the shirt is like, he's real thin, but the shirt is like really baggy. And he doesn't say anything. He just stands there like a mannequin. And I'm watching this and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then when Alex goes around the register, he just vanishes. I was like,
so it's 2 takes.
I was like, what? Like legitimately, he looks like one of the characters from the Burbs. Did you see that?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned this because I deliberately didn't put it into my notes because I was afraid I was a piece of shit. Okay. But now that you did it, I feel so relieved. I will say PBS is notorious for being more inclusive. So my first thought is like, okay, well, they have somebody who's obviously has a physical disability,
right? And
they're including him. I'm surprised you missed it, Chris, because he kind of towers over the counter.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it.
He's got a big hump
Slow
on
motion.
his back.
I don't think it's a hump though.
Well, that's what it looked like to me. And
like
he looked
hump.
like emaciated, like very, very skinny.
I gotta go back and rewatch this shit. I can't believe I missed this.
Like Gru from
Despicable
Me. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna write this down. This is obviously creepy.
We're horrible.
And I'm a bad person if I do this. So I'm glad you mentioned it. No, I mean I didn't pay attention to when he got off screen, but I paid attention when he was on there.
I just think it's the poor quality. I don't think he's actually like a deformed, like Quasimodo Igor guy. I think it's
he is.
No way.
I do.
I think the quality of the episode definitely plays a factor. Like it would be interesting to like upscale it and see what it looks like.
It's just, but the reason why it's so bizarre is because like.
Have you tried Reddit?
No, I haven't. That's where we always end up in these episodes. We go to Reddit. So it's weird because you got the hilarious Gooey Gus segment where he's in the arroz con pollo and he ruined the arroz con pollo, as Alex's dad says. And then Alex just casually goes over and this dude is just there with his baggy shirt holding up something.
Maybe he's ready to pay.
I don't even know what he's buying. I couldn't even tell you what he went to buy. He went to go buy the arroz con pollo. And then he just disappears. Like literally a cut and he's gone. And I'm not making fun of the way he looks. It's just weird. It's just visually weird looking, and I think a lot of it plays into the bad quality version we watched.
Right,
because
probably. But I'm telling you, what I saw was somebody who
I don't think he had a
misshapen.
hump. I just
no,
think the shirt
not
is
a
too
hump,
big.
not a humpback.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's like his head just looked lower than his shoulders.
Maybe he was just like wearing a shirt too big for him. He's like really thin, and the shirt was just
Chris,
too
go
big.
watch it right now because my brother
I'm
sounds
trying to
nuts.
look it up right now. I
know what I
Googled
saw.
Ghostwriter Hunchback PBS, but the results are not coming up the way that I want.
Horrible.
Just go find the bodega.
I don't
want
to listen. We're not making fun of the guy.
But I want to know. Curiosity did not kill the person.
It's a morbid curiosity.
He looks like Courtney Gaines from The Burbs. And like, I don't know if you, I don't think Samantha knows what I'm talking about, but Chris does.
Yes.
There's like a character
From the movie with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, The Burbs. Remember the guy that crushes the garbage in the can? Like,
yes, he does kind of look like that.
That's the vibes I was getting, you know?
Yes.
Like, Courtney Gaines, I believe, is the name
example.
of that actor.
Oh my gosh.
So it was just a weird.
I'm glad you said something. Let me tell you.
Listen, unintentionally creepy. Respectfully, I don't know if the person had a handicap, but it was just a weird person to give as an extra role. Like legit says nothing, pays for his item that we don't even know what it is. And we're so fixated on Gooey Gus that all these years later,
I'm like,
I
missed it.
That's why you missed it.
Gooey Gus had your attention.
I'm sorry, guys, if we offended anybody. Any of our
No, we're curious. Maybe somebody out there knows the answer. The internet is a wild place.
We love hunchbacks here. It's fine.
If we can get Sheldon Turnip
See, now you're making it a
this
problem.
story.
Making fun. Listen, I love Frankenstein. All jokes aside, though, it's whatever. I just thought it was. I don't think he has a hunchback. I just think it's the way he's standing, and the shirt is like 5 sizes too big and tucked into his. Samantha thinks he has a hunchback.
I didn't say hunchback.
Okay.
I said of some kind of physical disability. It doesn't have to be a hunchback, but he definitely did not. He wasn't standing tall at the very least.
No, he was hunchy. He was slouchy. My
it was
dude was
weird.
slouchy.
I noticed it.
There you go. Chris completely missed.
I can't wait for Chris to see it.
You're gonna see it.
I'm so excited right now.
You're not going to be able to find it while we're recording. It's going to be
no. He will though.
I'm gonna get it later.
It's episode 2. It's this. It's episode 2 right after they find Gooey Gus in the arroz con pollo.
Yeah. Okay.
That's literally the scene. All right, so we're recording this after the fact. We were wrapping up the episode, and Sammy found the exact point of our mysterious person in the bodega. And Chris is about to watch the scene.
So fucking excited.
Chris is about to watch the scene that he didn't even notice this person in the scene live on the show.
We're doing it live.
Plugging this into the show during that conversation we had. Chris, hit play.
All right, here we go. I mean, I'm going to be as diplomatic and nice as possible as I can about this, but that's for sure a person with some kind of disability.
You think so?
100%. 100%.
Thank you.
But
we're all inclusive here.
No, of course.
It's for sure. Like you can just tell by the body language of the person too. It's for sure somebody with a disability. But then they literally just disappear. Yo, they're just gone.
And they just gone. They're gone.
That's the creepiest thing
Left
about
a pack
it.
of Marlboros and just bounce.
I don't think that person should be smoking Marlboros, but okay. So what up? But tell me if I'm wrong, because you just saw the scene. Doesn't the poor quality make him look a little
It was pretty
eerier?
clear when I just looked at it.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But that's again. Yes, the quality is not the best, but the mannerisms.
Mm-hmm.
Watch is just some young guy with a baggy shirt on, and we're just doing
he's stiff
so.
like this too. He's kind of stiff.
We got to screenshot it and put it on the channel. Not in a hey, what is it jester kind of shit, but hey, what do you guys think? Is this somebody that?
I mean, it's not even whatever. It could be a person with a disability, but just the way it's actually just I think the way it's shot, him vanishing, and the graininess of the quality, it's just bizarre.
This is some urban legend shit.
Yeah, very, very,
He
very.
was Gooey Gus.
Oh no! Let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
One,
see this.
you gotta find it. It's just a weird visual. It's not even like making fun of people. It's just like a bizarre person to cast as an extra and watching it in poor quality.
It just takes attention away for that moment, but maybe not so because Chris didn't even notice it. I noticed it immediately, but I'm also incredibly observant about things like that.
Yeah. Really weird. Two more things to move away from our mysterious figure that pops up in this scene. The lime monster typo gag, phenomenal.
Oh my God, that was so funny because they don't tell you the punchline before it happens. We just go from shot to shot of Gooey Gus and then land on a little green guy with boots in the windowsill. And I was like, what's that? And then they go, ha ha ha, you put a typo, lime monster.
Jamal,
I thought that was so funny.
That's something that
was a great typo.
That's something I would do and just misspell a word entirely. Thank you, Grammarly, for
I think that's that's the point of Ghostwriter, right? Like, is he's there to help them do that stuff.
Such a great gag. They're like lime. They all the characters in the story look at the camera and they're like lime monster.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jamal's like, sorry guys, and he fixes it. Such a great gag. One more thing, and we'll get into the thing I don't like about this episode, and I think Samantha alluded to it
already.
Yeah, we teased it already. And so
sorry.
I do like that Alex, while they're on the hunt for Gooey Gus, I think it's his segment of the story, he finds a basketball and he's got like ADHD and he just has to stop and play basketball.
Just start shooting hoops in the middle of trying to find his fucking sister.
Yeah. He tells the girls, I'm going to be in the park for a minute just playing some basketball.
That would have been me and Louie.
Yeah.
as I'm being kidnapped away by a tiny purple monster. Louie's like, oh, look, a ball.
Oh, look, I got to go shoot some hoops while this purple creature is kidnapping people and putting them in bubblegum cocoons. So great. I'm watching. And then they cut the shots of him actually playing.
Not really doing very well at convincing me he can play.
He does make the ball, though. He does make it. And you know that it's like 8 takes to get that. It must have been like 8 takes to get that one shot. And then he looks at the camera and he's like, Alex! And then he runs off. Finally, he gives up on his basketball.
It's a good brother. Good brother. You gotta make sure he gets his superstar points.
So dumb. I was watching. This is. I guess they're like he's the bimbo character. Like he's the self-absorbed.
He's just the boy. He's like the jock boy.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So the one I think we all will agree and make fun of this one subplot of this episode because Gooey Gus is the superstar. Everything with Gooey Gus in this episode is amazing.
It's great.
But there's a subplot with Lenny and Tina's brother, her older brother, where they're supposed to, and it comes out of nowhere. They're like, this is just something that's happening because they're graduating junior high. So Tina's older brother, Lenny, they both play music. They both make music. He's a guitar player into like grunge, and then she's into hip hop. There's even a line of dialogue. He goes, Do you know anything about Pearl Jam, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith? And she's like, no. It's
terrible.
It's so cringy. But we cut back to this so much in I think episode 3 and 4. It's like it's a vital side to the point that like Lenny leaves the main Gooey Gus plot to focus on. Yeah. And then like he starts to like her. The older brother's like, he likes you. Like what?
Yeah.
So weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Very odd.
I'm guessing it's because the kids are like getting older and they want to show like that aspect of life.
The puberty thing. Yeah. Like we covered Boy Meets World, right? Like we did the puberty episode. It happens, right?
Yeah.
But it's so corny.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, get back to Gooey Gus. I don't want to see this bullshit.
And then the song that they actually come up with, fucking stinks.
It's such garbage.
It stinks.
Let me say something, okay? We make a lot of excuses for it being a kids show, right?
But like adults are writing it.
If these kids, like if the kids that are watching this are idiots, okay? But like Gullah Gullah Island produced some heat.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse produced some heat. what the fuck was that song?
Yeah, for sure.
What was that song? You think the kids aren't going to notice?
I'm going to plug it in here, and I erased it from my memory. I don't even know how it goes.
Let's be friends. Let's be friends. That's what
Some
we
shit
are.
like, I'll never leave you alone.
By your
Like
side.
some dumb shit. Like horrible shit.
Yeah.
Nothing can come between us. I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
It went right out of my mind because I was like, oh God, this fucking sucks. But it's definitely some doo-doo shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
He was
literally
just there
just a
with the hat,
keyboard and a
like-
guitar. What kind of fucking band is that?
Apparently, Lenny has had a song on MTV too, according to the dialogue.
Yeah, according to the show.
He
You
goes,
ever had a video on MTV?
and he's like, oh, but that's only one song. He's like, it's really about like the long game with making music. I was
Well,
like,
the
yo,
thing
What
is,
was that? I'm
Lenny's
curious to hear what the
dad-
MTV song was.
Lenny's
I'm
dad
calling
is a
bullshit.
musician on the show. Like that's his thing, right? Her
Oh,
her dad's a
okay.
musician. So that it tracks, right? Like that she would be a musician too. But damn, that shit is terrible.
which
That was
goes,
so bad.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it sprung another scene to mind. Again, this goes back to Gooey Gus. Like, he even feels up the dad when the dad's taking a nap in one scene. And I was
Yeah.
like, what does the dad have to do with anything? He doesn't even know about Gooey Gus.
Spits up on his foot.
Yeah, and then the dad, like, it's so random. It's like the father had nothing to do in this arc with Gooey Gus, but Gooey
Yeah.
Gus still had to, because since he's all over Brooklyn, he still had to go and
You had
harass
to
him.
give him, yeah.
But what's weird is that's in the real world. That's not the story. See what I
Right.
mean?
Right, that's the point. Is it like the story
Yeah.
is real or like what's real, what's not?
This
That's
is like
whole
the
thing for
inception
episode.
of
It is like
Ghostwriter.
Inception.
It's like the
Holy
story
shit.
within a story within a story. Gooey Gus is that powerful.
But instead of like a dreidel, it's like the arroz con pollo.
it's the top. It's the giant, the giant thing of
The giant crock. They call it a crock pot, but we know that's not a crock
That's
pot.
not the big pot of arroz
Yeah.
con pollo. Yeah, just what a bad. Like, I guess they wanted to give like Lenny this end to her character where she
Right.
learned to like. It's not all about hip hop, Lenny. It's about
Sometimes it's about rock too.
It's about rock. You don't like Pearl Jam, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses? It's so horrible. What a terrible side story. It'd be one
Yeah,
thing.
it was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, like they introduced
tough.
it like 3 episodes in, and you know us, we love to pick apart the stuff and just
Oh
make
yeah,
fun
but
of
I
it.
think like if
Scott.
that's
yeah.
all we're picking apart, like we had a good time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Well, it's
Yeah, it wasn't a turd on the doorstep, you know? Could have been
it
worse.
wasn't a, yeah, listen. It's better than Samantha's situation with the turd happening right
Exactly.
now. So to wrap things up, closing thoughts. We'll start with Chris. Closing thoughts. Ghostwriter,
I'm glad
Attack
we
of the Slime
finally-
Monster.
I'm glad we finally did this because I've always loved Ghostwriter. I actually I forget when I want to say it was like during the pandemic. I went back and just rewatched the entire series on YouTube a couple years ago. So like it was still kind of fresher in my mind.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was one of those things where I was like, yo, I've never seen Ghostwriter before anywhere. I think maybe, you know what it was? I think when we went to Monster Mania one year, and you know how there's guys selling like bootleg DVDs of whatever shows they have. I remember seeing it there and it like triggered the memory for me.
In your brain,
And then I
yeah.
went and watched it and sought it out and watched it on YouTube. So I'm glad we finally got to what I think is like the scariest episode of the entire show.
Yeah.
What about you, Sammy? Final
I
thoughts.
loved it considering that I've never seen Ghostwriter before and this is like my introduction to it. I think it's really cool. I love I'll speak on the show in general and these episodes. The show in general is like such a cool concept. This mysterious ghost, unfortunately, we don't get to find out where he is and how he got there, helping these like little New York kids solve all these mysteries, but also like teaching the kids who are watching the show educationally how to write properly and
Yeah.
how to enhance your story. I think it's so cool. It's such a fun way to do it. And Gooey Gus is up there with like spooky little creatures. I mean, I love his character. I love him and his little Tims running around the city wreaking havoc. I think it's so fucking funny, but also like terrifying. It was so fun.
He's top tier evil doll. He's up
yeah,
there.
for
He
sure.
needs more respect. They need to put more respect on Gooey Gus's name.
Yeah.
I just
I'll
feel
take
like-
Gooey Gus over those like Annabelle Bullshit.
Annabelle versus Gooey Gus.
Yeah.
I think Gooey Gus will knock her out, even though she's a possessed,
Slimer.
like evil
We
doll.
gotta petition somebody to make these Gooey Gus dolls.
I'm
You guys are really
burning
inspiring
mad.
me. I could
I'm
use a
steaming
project.
mad. Yeah. I'll say this. You know, we joked about how Ghostwriter is the show that people forget.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch, let's say you watch an episode and you're like, oh, this sucks. Not into this. Not my cup of tea. If you go out of your way, make sure you watch these. Like, go out of your way to watch these 4 episodes. Like, I think that you can skip everything else. Like, you don't even need to know the backstory to half of these characters. Just watch these 4 episodes. You won't regret it. If you're like into spooky shit, like a spooky kid, whether you're a little younger, maybe you're a little older and you just didn't watch this, I'd say check it out. It's worth an hour and a half maybe altogether, about 20 minutes each.
Yeah.
Hour
80
20,
minutes. It's not, you won't regret 80 minutes of your life watching Ghostwriter, Attack of the Slime Monster. It's perfect. I never give 5 stars on Letterboxd. I found this shit on Letterboxd.
No, you didn't.
I gave it 5. I never put stars on Letterboxd. I know that sounds really pretentious of me, but I gave this 5 stars. Perfect.
5
it's
stars.
perfection. Gooey Gus is perfection.
Slime, anyone?
Chew, Gabby, chew! Keep on chewing!
So that was Ghostwriter, Attack of the Slime Monster. Be sure to subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, all that good stuff at Haunted Hangover. Head over to hauntedhangover.com where you can find links to everything, including our Patreon page, where if you want to show us a little love, you can gain access to bonus content.
And if you could rate and review us, that would be greatly appreciated.
And as always, remember, the best cure for a hangover is
More booze.
More booze.
more slime. Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me? I'm steaming mad. What is it?
I'm steaming mad.
I'm burning mad. Catch you guys later.